So here I've got a cup of 1/2 and 1 1/4 cups of milk. You could use low-fat milk. You could use whole milk if you wanted to. And you want to put that in a saucepan. Put the milk in. And now, because this is called a budino di riso, we want to use the right rice for this. And for that, you need to use Italian arborio rice. You see, this is a short grain rice that is very starchy. And you need that starchiness to give you the creaminess. So in goes the rice. We want about 1/2 cup. We're going to give this a pinch of salt. And one of my favorite things to use in baking, vanilla bean. Now, if you've never seen a vanilla bean, this is it. So we want to put the seeds of the vanilla bean, which are inside. So you want to slit down and open up the vanilla bean. And then in here are the seeds. And you want to scrape those right into your milk mixture. But scrape them in and then add the bean itself. That gives a really nice flavor. And we want to bring that just to under the boil and then cook it for about 20 or 25 minutes or so. Let me show you what it looks like. We have one here on the back. And here is what I mean by a soupy mixture. You see that? Fairly soupy. Okay, now we can transfer this to a bowl. You want to let that cool slightly because you're going to be adding eggs to that, and you don't want that to curdle. So you let it cool down a little bit, and meanwhile, you mix up some eggs. As I told you, this was a budino, so we need something to hold it together besides the rice. So you want to use 3 eggs. So you beat up those eggs, just break them up. And here we have some sugar. That goes in. Mix this around. And now we want to give that just a hint of cinnamon. So a little cannella, as they say in Italian, goes in. And some lemon zest. And if you don't have a gadget like this, I strongly suggest that you get one. This is a zester, sometimes called a microplane zester, and it just takes the lemon oil right off this lemon without getting the pith, because that would be very, very bitter. Okay, now we're going to combine the two. Easy, huh? So now we add this to your cooled mixture. And I like to do it in a, this is a little tip for you, if you want to do it in a measuring cup, a large measuring cup with a spout, this will help you easily get it then into the ramekins without having to use a spoon or a scoop, which can be very, very messy. You see why this makes this so much easier to do than having to scoop it with a spoon or another cup. Keeps everything neat and tidy in the kitchen. Okay, now our oven is on at 325 degrees, but we have to do one more thing. We have to add some water, because we're cooking these in what the Italians call a bagno Maria, a water bath. You want to carefully pour the water along the sides of the pan until it comes about halfway up to the ramekins. Don't go over the top, otherwise the water will be in the ramekins, and that wouldn't be very good at all. And now we're ready to bake these. 325 degrees, just until they are starting to set, but are a little bit jiggly. You can use a little toothpick to put in there to see how wet they are. So in they go. And we can forget about those for about 25 minutes. And for the sauce, we want some butter. About 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of butter in a pan will be fine. And we're going to add some sugar with that. And get this so that the butter and the sugar are cooked for about, a minute or so. So we're going to let that melt a little bit. So we're just using Bing cherries, and here they are. If you want to use some other type of cherry, you can. And you need about 1 cup of cut up cherries for this. The sauce as well as the budino can be made ahead of time, but I like to serve the sauce warm against the unmolded, chilled budino. I think that makes a really nice combination. Okay, now I'm going to add these cherries. We want about, a cup. And I like to keep them in half because I like to see big chunky pieces of cherries, but if you wanted to make them smaller, cut them in smaller pieces, you could. And then just to flavor this a little bit more, I like to use some amaretto. Or you could use a brandy, orange liqueur, whatever you have. So I'm going to put about, 2 tablespoons. That's about 2 tablespoons. And as it cooks, of course, it changes the color of the sauce so that you have that nice color of the Bing cherries. So you want to cook that, about a minute, just till the cherries start to soften slightly, but they're not all mush. And you'll be able to feel when all of that sugar is really melted by moving your spoon along the inside of the pan and not feeling any grit there.